Now here's a little trick about how to keep your place while you're doing your braiding. You'll find that I use doorknobs a lot. While you're doing your braiding, if you get to a spot where you want to take a break, just kind of lay it right there on the doorknob. Take the part that's braided, bring it around once, and hold it in place. It's nice to have a spot where you can stop every once in a while and rest your fingers. You see I've got the braid going here. Just kind of lay it right there on the doorknob. Loop it around once. That should hold it in place. And then take your break. I went ahead and put my constrictor knot where I know that my Turk's head is going to be, where I'm going to join the neck piece. I did it in hemp right here so you could see it better, but usually I use the bonded nylon twine for a good grip. But it's going to be covered up anyway, so I'll show you what else to do. After you figure out where you're going to join the neck piece at, and I've got my location right there, you take the rest of it that you braid it all the way down. The only reason I do this is because I never know which 4 strands are going to come out in the middle. So you have to do the braid all the way down before you join it at the neck piece. You're going to wonder why I did that, but I'll show you that in just a second. But you clip the constrictor knots on the end, holding the braid together, and now you're going to unravel all the way back to this piece right here for both sides. I'll stop right here and show you what I mean in just a second. Strands in the middle, after you've unraveled them all the way back to where the neck piece is joined, figure out which 4 strands are the most in the middle right there. And then you're going to do a 4-strand plait or braid, whichever you want to call it. It starts off with you just cross one over, take the one on the outside, bring it under and over, and the one on this side under and over, and the one on this side under and over and under and over and under and over, all the way down. I'll show you a page out of Tom Hall's book to make it a little bit more understandable. But you're going to need, when you do make this braid, you'll need to have tension on it. Hook it over a doorknob or something like that so you can maintain tension while you're doing the braid, and it comes out a lot smoother. It has kind of like a chain effect. You can look at it right there. And it makes a nice braid for a bosun pipe lanyard. But I'll stop for right now and show you the finished braid all the way down and what we do after we finish the braid. Now you can see the finished braid for the part going from the next piece. It's going to be going to the pipe. And that looks pretty good. Now the next step after this, you're going to create a foot rope knot here. Now a foot rope knot's just a crown, then a wall. And if you wanted to double this foot rope knot, you would just follow it around this pattern, back down and up again. But I'll show you a little bit more about how to put together a foot rope knot with a bigger piece of material. That would explain it a lot better. But if you look in Tom Hall's book or the Spencer's book, the Harrison Book of Knots, foot rope knots are very easy to make. They look complicated, but they're not hard to make. Some people have asked me how to extend a foot rope knot. And if you wanted to extend it, make it longer, all you do is, instead of just going straight back up and following this part around, cross over the next one, and then follow it around through that part. But you could make it as long as you wanted to. If you wanted to go over 2, you could go over this one, under this one, and over this one, and then start working from there. It makes it a little bit longer. You could go over 4. You could go over 3. You could go over 2. It's just depends how big you want to make it. On this one here, I'm going to go over 1, under 1, and I'll go under this part right here. Like that. You do the same thing with each corresponding strand. Over 1, under 1, under the crown there. Keep everything uniform. You don't want to mess up at this stage. And then after you get everything put together the way you want it, you just tighten the foot rope knot up, and you have a very good lead to the next step in our project here. I'll show you the tightened up foot rope knot and show you the next step that we go to after this. The finished foot rope knot tightened up, and from here we're going to do another step. Let me zoom out so we can see it a little bit better. From here you're going to do some crowning over the braided part that we've done here. The easiest way to show you that, I like to use the over 2 crowning method, which means you go over 2 strands. Over 2, over 2, over 2, over 2, over 2, over 2. You're back over here where we started, so you pull these out a little bit. Go over 2. And over 2. Takes a little bit of practice to learn this over 2 crowning, but it's worth it, because when you tighten it up, the crowning will actually hold it in place very snug while you go to the next level of crowning. And I'm going to crown this down probably about an inch, inch and a half, and then we'll put another foot rope knot on the other end of the crowning, and I'll show you the next step after that. About an inch and a half. You can see the little spot here where we're going to put the other foot rope knot. We're going to put the foot rope knot from here on this end going back. On this end we did it from the top going down, then we crowned, then when we get as far as we want to with the crowning, we stop and we're going to make a foot rope knot going the other direction. Then we'll tuck the ends on the inside, and I'll show you the finished product. I'll show you more about constructing a foot rope knot later on with a wooden dowel so you can see it a lot better, but this is just the next step in the process.